Hi everyone, welcome to Traveling Misknits. My name is Pia and I am so happy that you're joining me here today for a little chat about my yarny adventures. Today I am wearing a finished object. Last time I recorded a regular podcast, I'm pretty sure that this one was blocking, so I wasn't able to show it, but it is the San Miguel blouse. And I am so happy with it. I'm just going to stand up so you can see what it looks like. Just a little more than what you can see here. This is my San Miguel blouse. And I love this thing. It is so easy to wear. It's the kind of thing that I can just pop over a swimsuit and my jeans shorts. If I was a dress person, I'm sure it would also look absolutely adorable over a dress or a skirt. But yeah, this is me. This is how I am using it. And I am very, very happy with it. I did add this little border because after I crocheted the whole thing, I put it on and I was like, nah, it's just a little bit too short. I want to be able to tuck it into my shorts, and it was just a little bit too short. So I just took the pattern from the sleeves and then I started crocheting down from my initial chain, my starting chain. I just added a little bit. It actually gives it also just a little bit of structure. So I am very pleased that I did. And I now have a summer top that I absolutely love wearing. I really don't think that I am finished with this pattern yet. It is a beautiful pattern. Unfortunately, it's not available on Ravelry. You'll have to get it on Etsy, and I will, of course, link it in the description box below. This version I crocheted up using a ribbon yarn. I am pretty sure that I show this on the last podcast. It is that kind of yarn that just looks like the ribbon that you use when you're wrapping presents. And it is a wonderful yarn for a summer top because it does have, it's this mixture of cotton and some synthetic fibers, which means that in the heat, it doesn't soak up your sweat. It doesn't get as heavy as a 100% cotton could be. I would like to make a version with a lot more positive ease, like a big flowy version. I don't think I would work that in this yarn. I have plans for what I have left of this yarn. I would like to make it in some kind of plant-based fiber. My good friend Ina made it in Drops and she told me, no, don't do that, because Drops and Sandnes Line, they're very splitty yarns. So that she told me that it almost drove her crazy. It would probably drive me up the walls as well. This is a very, very simple stitch pattern, a very easy to memorize repeat. So you can just zoom around, you crochet the body in turned rows. So you're just crocheting actually back and forth, but creating a tube. And that, of course, means you work every other row from the wrong side. So the pattern is the same up here when you work flat as it is on the body where you work in the round. But yeah, it is a pattern where you don't want your yarn to split. I'm not an expert on plant-based fibers, so if you know of a good plant-based fiber on the heavier side that is not too splitty, please let me know in the comments below, because I will be on the lookout for just that. I do have a lot yarn left on the cone of this ribbon yarn. And actually my plan is I would love to either turn this one into a summer dress, a beach cover up. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to start crocheting the skirt, and then when I come to the body, I can gauge if I have enough yarn or if I need to attach it to this one. I would like to have both a top and a dress, but if I had to choose, probably I'd go with the dress, and then I'd make the top in another yarn. And again, I really hope that one of you has a good suggestion for the kind of yarn that would be perfect for this. As I said, I really enjoy working in this ribbon yarn because for sure that's not splitty. That is very, very easy to work with. And yeah, wouldn't it be beautiful as a summer dress? I really think so. So more to come. I don't know that I will be starting that right away because we are going towards the end of summer. Maybe a beach cover-up is not what I'm going to get the most wear out of for the next couple of months. But, you know, when the crochet bug bites me, there's no telling what is going to happen. Another thing that I finished since last we spoke is, of course, the little sweater for my grandson, John. He went up into my yarn studio. He picked out a medium gray and a black yarn and asked me to knit him a sweater. And I was so proud. I was happy that he was even interested to get a sweater. And I condone his color choices. As we were working on the sweater, the design developed. First, he had made a little drawing for me, showing me that he would like some bubbles on the sweater. But it turned into Mickey Mouse. So what I did is I created an Excel sheet where I made sure that the squares were the same size as the stitches that I was creating. A knit stitch is not a perfect square, it's a little wider. So I made sure that the squares mimicked my knit stitches so that I could draw an outline of Mickey Mouse. And I duplicate stitched that one on. I showed John the sweater, and he had a comment. He's a very polite boy. He was very happy with the sweater, but he was thinking that Mickey would need eyes, a nose, and a mouth. I do have a little video of him trying it on, and I'm going to put that on now. So, John, do you see the camera?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. We want to show everyone your new sweater. Your Mickey Mouse sweater.
I know.
Yeah, do you like it?
Yeah, I really do.
You really do? And what did you tell Grandma when you saw the sweater?
It looks amazing.
Yeah, but you would like the...
Better than anything.
Oh. But you'd also like me to put on a smile, a nose, and some eyes. So Grandma will be stitching away today.
A big smile.
A big smile.
What like?
Yeah, like with an open mouth smile.
Yeah, and that we can see his tongue.
Okay.
With his tongue sticking out.
Ooh, that too. I'll see if I can do that. I will do my very best to make a pretty face on the Mickey.
Okay, so what are your questions?
Well, my question is, are you able to wait for the sweater until I come back to Texas?
Yeah, so.
Okay, because is it too hot in Texas right now for a sweater?
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably is, right? So I will be stitching away all day as soon as we come back
But
from the boat.
stitching, what does that mean?
That means when I am putting on the face, I'm stitching that on. So maybe I'll make it today, and maybe I will be bringing it when I come back to Texas. And anyway, it is going to be too hot in Texas in August.
So what's your next question?
Well, do you remember what the sweaters from Grandma are? They're a big hug from Grandma that you can put on and wear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, John, for showing the sweater.
Yeah, but what are your next questions?
I actually don't think I have more questions. Do you have things you want to tell about it? Let's go to the boat just and have some fun today.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we do that?
Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. I love you to the moon and morning.
I love you too, Grandma.
Isn't he adorable? And wasn't that sweater great, just with the outline of the Mickey? I thought it was so cool. But, of course, I went back to Excel and I picked up my needle again and I duplicate stitched eyes, nose, and mouth with the tongue sticking out. So I really hope that he will be happy with this. I do think that I'm going to FaceTime him later today when he is back from school over in Texas and show it to him. It is, I'm very, very happy with this. I really am. So, the tongue sticking out. It's not really sticking out, but you can see the tongue. I did not have any red yarn at all. So what I did, I had loads of white yarn, so I decided I'm just going to dye up a little bit of red yarn. I had so much fun dyeing up that red yarn that maybe it did get a little bit out of hand. I don't know, to the untrained eye, it would look like a lot of yarn. But as every knitter knows, this is perfect because now I have the yarn that I need for fall and I can't even keep a straight face. I don't have to shop for fall. I'm going to Rhinebeck. I'm going to the McKinney Knittery. There's a good chance that I'm going to shop a little bit, but I really loved dyeing yarn again. I haven't done that for such a long time. For a short period, I did dye up some yarn that I added to my shop, but I quickly discovered that that process is just too hard on my back and my body. So I dropped it, but fortunately I still have all the dyes, and yeah, that red, I love it. So of course I made a sweater's quantity of that. But yeah, the sweater itself is knit in Drops Merino Extra Fine, which is in my opinion, perfect yarn for kids' sweaters. It is so soft. I mean, there is nothing here that could be prickly or itchy. It's not too warm, which is perfect when you're a Texas kid. This is like a sweatshirt. He can wear this instead of a sweatshirt. So he will get a chance to actually wear it. Not like if I had worked this up in a rustic warm wool. He'd maybe be able to wear it 2 days a year. But this one he's going to be able to wear. Also, Drops Merino Extra Fine, and probably most super washed merinos, but this one in particular, it's a notorious grower, which means that I had to be very careful when blocking it. With a yarn that really wants to grow, you can actually help it not grow too much. You can be very careful, as I was. But if it turns out to grow anyway, you can like squish it together. So you can measure your body, you can place the edges, the neckline and the ribbing at the bottom at the correct distance. And then you can like pat and squish the rest of the fabric into place. I can't wait to show him this one. I can't wait to go to Texas in September and give it to him. almost be sweater weather when I arrive late September. But it'll be sweater weather eventually. For this one, I used the pattern for my family sweater, and then I just added a special neckline. And I'm going to talk more about this neckline later. But yeah, I love this neckline. These I-cords, they look like they go all the way through, but because this is for a child, obviously they don't go all the way through. I don't want him hanging from some slide or jungle gym, whatnot. So these are just short I-cords that I just popped in and then stitched them down so that nothing will happen if he pulls at them. The last thing that I finished is not really a thing. It's a gauge swatch, this one. And I just, because it's knit in the round, I was like, why not turn this one into just a small little pouch? I'm gonna find a zipper, hopefully one day, and I'll just have a nice little pouch to keep my thingies organized. If I feel really up to it, I am gonna add some lining, then I'll have a notions pouch. But anyway, this is just a swatch. I am working on the designs for fall right now. I will have 3 new designs coming out this fall. One that's gonna come in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe. And then I will have one that's gonna come out for the Knitathon in November. More information about the Knitathon on my website. I will link it in the description box. And then finally, of course, I'll have an Advent sweater as I do every year. But this is very much what you will see from me this fall. These textured, squishy knits is what I'm feeling this year. So, yeah. A nice little pouch. I did go to my local yarn store just to see if she had a zipper. She did not. She had no zippers. I don't know where people get zippers here in Italy. In Denmark, I just get it at the supermarket or for sure in a yarn shop. But I'll find a zipper. Maybe not until I reach Denmark, but that's going to be fine. There's no rush here. What she did have down there was some lovely yarn, which, I mean, no surprise. So in this beautiful bag that my friend Bitten made for me, isn't it just pretty? She does not sell her bags, but she made this one just for me as a present. This beautiful Japanese fabric with all the dragonflies. We have a lot of dragonflies here, so this feels very summery and very appropriate to me. But in this is actually a test knit. The test has ended, and I think the pattern will be out very, very soon. It is the Linie scarf or line scarf by my friend Ina. And she's just a master of these small scarves. I love what she does. She always adds something new. She always thinks about the details for her scarves. So this one, yeah, you knit it side to side, and you have these slipped stitches to form the long lines that the scarf got its name from. Then as you're at the midpoint, and I really wish that I had blocked this, because you actually shape the middle of this scarf with some short rows for a much better fit, so that it's tighter around your neck than if it had just been knit straight. And then you have this belt showing the middle, and of course on the other side you just decrease as you increased. Because this is such a fluffy yarn, I find it difficult to read my knitting. On the wrong side, I have to slip the stitches that gives the lines. So I have placed some stitch markers there just so that I don't have to count. I can just knit away and just know that when I come to a stitch marker, I have to slip the next stitch. So this is very easy, quick TV knitting. Yeah. I am loving this. I don't know that this is the right color for me, but I think it's so beautiful. So it's happening for sure. It's a yarn that I don't know. It is called Cubicle from Adria Phil. It's an Italian yarn brand. It's 40% acrylic, 36% alpaca, 14% merino, and 10% polyamide. So there's a lot of different fibers in here, but they go together to create this super fluffy, super soft, lovely yarn. There is no shedding at all on this yarn. It retains the fiber. It's of course not the easiest yarn to knit with because you can see here that the thread, you get stuck. Like I was complaining about splitty cotton yarns. This is not splitty, but you get caught in all of these little bumps of extras. But it's okay because it is going to be the perfect scarf for me. I am gonna link either the pattern, if the pattern is indeed out now, or I am gonna link Ina's Ravelry page so that you can easily find the pattern as soon as it's out. I always recommend that you follow her on Instagram. I actually recommend that you follow all of your favorite designers. But Ina, you should follow her both for her designs, but also for her impeccable style. She wears her knits so beautifully. As I said, I am working on the full designs, which does take up most of my knitting time, but I do have another little project that I am having fun with. My orange socks, my poppy orange or poppy red socks with the pink stripes. So I finished the first sock. I cast on for the next one and I started working the ribbing. Then one morning, as we were still having all of the grandchildren here, I was in bed. I woke up with a handful of grandchildren, and I knew if I get out of bed, then they're going to wake up and there's going to be no knitting time for me. So I was looking around, what can I reach from here and just quietly slide up and sit and knit for a bit. And what I could reach was sock number 2. And I was like, yeah, that ribbing looks done. I'm sure that I put it down because it's done. So I went into the stockinette stitch. It was not done. It's shorter by 3 rows, 3 rounds. And I was like, so discouraged. Not fair. It just felt wrong. And yeah, I put it aside because in my mind I would have to rip down the stockinette that I just worked that morning, which was an inch or so. Nothing, but just the idea of pulling it back and getting the stitches back up on the needle, and nah. So that just, it went to the naughty step and it was there for a while. But then I was showing it on my Danish podcast, and yeah, it's true what people say. No one will notice. I will know, but no one else will notice. If anyone gets this close to my ankles that they actually notice a difference of 3 rounds of ribbing, they're too close. So I just continued. I knit down, I knit the heel, and now I am almost where I want to start making a couple of stripes. I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 stripes on sock number 2 so that they're a nice pair. I like it when it's not too matchy-matchy. I have discovered why I'm not a sock knitter at heart. When I knit garments, I have a very consistent gauge. I always kind of know what my gauge is going to be in any given yarn. And I never have to think about my gauge when I pick up a project. I can leave something in the project bag for 2-3 months, pick it up and continue knitting. My gauge is not changing. My gauge is what it is. Not so much on socks. It's like I'm overthinking it. And sometimes my gauge is really tight and sometimes it's too loose, as you can see up here. It was too loose up here. And then it gets really, really tight and I'm all over the place with my gauge. Probably it's just a matter of knitting more socks and I will find my natural sock gauge. But it is one of those things. It's just a little bit discouraging to me. But I'm not giving up on socks. I can see the beauty of having these small portable projects that you can just work on without paying too much attention to them. So yeah, not giving up on the socks, but they're not making it easy for me. I do have one more thing that I want to be working on. And that is Peter's sweater, the one that I knit for him last summer. I cast this one on for Father's Day and I knit on it throughout the summer. And I do have a video from last summer showing how it fit. So, yeah. This is the same neckline as the one that I did on John's sweater. I just think it's so cool. It's like a sweatshirt or a hoodie, only it's not. It's a hoodie without the hood. I really love that neckline. If you look at this yarn, this has been worn a lot for the last year. Peter is pretty hard wearing on his knits. And even if we look like under the arms, where typically you'd have quite a lot of pilling, there is really not much pilling on this one. This is a lovely yarn. It's yak and silk, which of course means that both the silk and the yak are quite durable fibers. So that's probably why we don't see pilling. This hasn't been depilled for a year. And as I said, it's been worn a lot. And he is hard wearing on his clothes. So yay for the yarn. The only thing is that I thought that this yarn would grow lengthwise. So that was what I took into consideration as I was knitting it. Turns out it doesn't grow lengthwise. It's the kind of yarn that pulls up and gets wider. So right now, the body doesn't really fit him very well. It is just a little bit too short and it's quite a lot too wide. So what I want to do is I want to rip back the body all the way up to the sleeve separation and re-knit it. Add some extra decreases. I did work decreases, but I'm going to add some more of those. I'm probably also going to add some more short rows because his back is just very, very long. So I'm going to add some more short rows and maybe a little bit of length to it. I'm going to try to ask Peter to put on this sweater, and then I can really show you what the problem is. Okay, thanks for being a good sport, putting on a warm sweater on a nice day, but maybe a little hot. We will go through this super fast. But yeah, as you can see, the sweater has really held up so well, but it's just too big. The body is here. It is just way too big and a little on the shorter side. I know you don't like your sweaters too long, but this is too short, right?
Right.
So maybe like 5 more centimeters, 2
maybe
inches.
A little less.
Yeah.
Maybe a little 3, 4
Yeah.
centimeters.
And what? Almost 20 centimeters we need to take out.
Did I lose weight?
I'm sure you lost weight. I'm sure you're going to find it again.
I'm sure I did.
There you go. And if you turn around, see here, I'm going to do some extra short rows because Peter's back is very, very long. From here to here is quite long. So I'm going to add some extra short rows and then again pull the sweater in so that it doesn't flop around as much. So a little bit lengthwise and then a little bit more because of some extra short rows. So I have my work cut out for me, but this is going to be so simple, stockinette stitching around. That's going to be nice. Maybe we can watch season 4 of The Boys as I do this. That would be nice, right?
Don't ruin it. I love it.
I will do my best not to ruin it. It is perfect for you.
Just a little big here. Right?
It's a little big, but we'll fix that.
I love it. Not too long.
No, I'm not going to make it too long. I can see you pulling on it, but I want it to have the correct length without you pulling on it, because
when I start wearing, I put up the shoulders like this, and then I do like this.
Yeah, and the thing is, in doing that, you actually pull it just a little bit out of balance, so it rides up in the back.
I'm so sorry.
I wanted to have the correct length as soon as you put it on, and then I wanted to, fit you just a little bit better.
It's been growing a bit, right?
It has.
Been growing, right?
Usually a yarn like this would grow lengthwise, but this one has been pulling up and thus becoming wider in the process. So I'm going to rip that back and I'm going to enjoy remaking your not so perfect sweater into your perfect sweater again.
It's going to be a perfect sweater. I love it. Thank you.
That was it for my current whips. And I must say, as much as I enjoy the little things, scarf, socks, things like that, I am a sweater knitter at heart. And I am working on the foldy designs, which sort of helps me scratch that itch, but not entirely, not entirely. I do feel a garment trying to sneak its way onto my needles. I do want to try to plan my fall knits a little better than I've done previously. I do want to be just a little more conscious of what I cast on, that it is something that is not just bringing me joy as I'm working on it, but that it's also something that will work in my wardrobe, because I wear my knits. Almost every day I do wear some sort of knitted garment. Maybe not at the height of summer, but the rest of the year, knitwear all the time. So I want to give it some thought, but for sure the next time I will see you, something will have crept onto my needles. I feel pretty sure about that. I am going to end things here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to give me a like, maybe even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those are things that really help me grow my channel. I hope to be back with another video next week. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, and keep knitting.